Also at noon, jury selection begins in Hernandez on trial. It's a story local football fans in the nation have been watching for more than a year now. Former New England Patriots tight end Aaron Hernandez accused of murder. The victim, semi-pro football player Odin Lloyd, found shot several times in a North Attleboro industrial park back in June of 2013. We've been covering this case every step of the way since Lloyd's body was found. Eyewitness News reporter Susan Campbell is continuing our trial coverage today, live with the Southeastern Massachusetts Mobile Newsroom.
Like any defendant, Aaron Hernandez was introduced to the summons jurors. As he looked out over the room, he was shifting his weight back and forth, and he actually licked his lips a couple times. On a snowy day at the Fall River Justice Center, jury selection started for Aaron Hernandez's first murder trial. Cameras aren't allowed in the court for the duration of the jury selection process, but I was in the jury pool room as the judge welcomed prospective jurors. When she introduced Aaron Hernandez, the former Patriot star stood up and said good morning. Then the judge briefly described the charges Hernandez is facing and explained how the jury selection process for the case will work. In all, there will be 9 sessions today, Monday, and Tuesday, with about 125 summons jurors at each session. Prospective jurors are sworn in, then they fill out a questionnaire that's several pages long. On Thursday, January 15th, potential jurors will find out if they need to return to the court. Then beginning on Friday, January 16th, the judge will individually interview the jurors. 18 jurors will be seated for the trial. 6 will ultimately be alternates, but that won't be decided until jury deliberations are about to begin. Back here live now outside of the court, you can see there's an increased police presence around the courthouse. I've also noticed more parking enforcement, a lot stricter parking enforcement, and most of the media has assigned parking that we all paid for, so we have our spots guaranteed while we're covering this trial.
Susan, describe for us the scene outside and around the courthouse. Are there any Hernandez supporters? I mean, I recall when he was first arrested, there were some people who showed up to the courthouse to support Hernandez.
There were just a couple people walking around outside wearing Pats jerseys, but as you recall, the judge said there was no NFL gear allowed in the courthouse, so we haven't seen any of that at all. We did see one summons juror who was escorted out of the courthouse because he shouted "Go Pats" while he was standing in the security line.
All right, Susan Campbell live in Fall River for us. And you can count on Eyewitness News for in-depth coverage of the Aaron Hernandez murder trial. We'll have team coverage tonight. Coming up at 5, Target 12 investigator Walt Buteau takes us minute by minute through the day that Odin Lloyd was murdered. And new at 6, a city official tells us Fall River hasn't seen a trial of this magnitude since the infamous Lizzie Borden case. You can also find extended coverage on WPRI.com.